forget about in this whole hustle and bustle of the world that we live in. It could be very stressful. So my mission is to help them women get back to focusing on themselves, loving themselves, and ultimately bringing the world back to balance. Because it starts into us.
Okay, so I appreciate that because you gave me time to set up my camera as well. And so we have a part of the creative community. I actually will tell a brief story about how I even got back into doing it. And so I initially had a commercial space, and so I got really knee deep, almost maybe waist deep into events. And then I was reminded that I'm supposed to be intentional about building a media platform, not, renting out my commercial space so that I can have a consistent income and live off of the building. And so I pivoted and I recognized that, my passion and my personal interest is actually in the digital media space and actually utilizing them tools to create following and a community that I wasn't consistently offered as a child, right? I think a lot of us might can connect with that. So Maya plays a very pivotal role in me organizing that creative community and that experience digitally by communicating, nurturing, and fostering this group called the Creative Community. It's a group chat we got on Instagram, and it expands to other resources and devices that we use to just create experiences like this, as well as relationships and collaboration. So that's where we connect. So, but I wanted to take us back with a question, right? Like, you interviewed me a few years ago, and I was actually it was like 4 or 5 years ago. And one thing that I was the most intrigued with when you had initially interviewed me is that you had a very genuine interest in artists' stories and not just, I guess, what can be captivating based on like the popularity or how much money people get. So can you talk about a little bit, like, at that time, what inspired you to start this journey to use your voice, your mindset, your platform to highlight what you thought was valuable?
Yeah, that's actually a great story, and it involves community a lot. So I interviewed you for my podcast, Art Exhibit Podcast. It was something that I started in maybe 2019, basically. It's a couple artists in this group that I interviewed, actually.
Shout out to the interviewees right here.
So yeah, that came about because, like you said, I was really interested in learning about the artists behind art. If anybody who knows me knows that music was something, like all of us, I'm sure, that was a big part of my life growing up. Every day, I listen to music. Like, music means a lot to me. So I decided to take the initiative to start looking into the people in the Philly scene and, like, why do you rate the music you feel? Like, what's your whole story? Because it's like, we take so much from the artists, but we don't always care to see what they go through, see why they made it, So that's what really drove me to do it. But even taking it deeper, like the actual start of Art Exhibit happened through our album. So our album is another art collective trying to air it. We started that collective, and that's why I met Reason. And during one of our meetings, I think I was just talking about that. I really want to do a podcast. I really want to, interview artists that are not. And the Reason was like, well, do it. And I'm like, oh shit, you know what? It is just that easy. So he was my first interview, and that's how that all started. So always gotta get ready to.
That's the part I like about this, man. Thank y'all, because that's why I do the show up, and that's why I like to create the intimate spaces that I create. Because I done seen people get girlfriends. I done seen people, find a producer, their roommate, the people they end up building collectives with. Like, just a lot of really meaningful relationships get established. And to, even be in this room and know that these things still develop and happen. That's why I knew I needed to do the show up again, because I hadn't really utilized the show up or the investment of my time or mind towards that since I had this space, because I was just so into, I got to pay the bills to keep this joint open. So, being creative about the entrepreneurial part about it. But then, recently, since I just been redeveloping myself, I've been like, how can I utilize like what I'm actually passionate about doing to create that same pace of revenue that I would like to have, like I had at that business. And that's what led me back to just reconnecting with people like yourself for a reason. And the people who believe in your stuff before anyone else cares. Before you have any subscribers, before you got any followers, you know what I mean? Like, they just trust you as a person. So that's why I create this space so that y'all can utilize this platform to create trustworthy relationships, people that's going to go with you for the long run. And so that actually brings me into my next question, which is, you know, when I had initially, this is me being transparent with y'all, I'm not always the best with asking for help. Raise your hand if y'all ever like been a part of something and then it go left, and then you don't even really want to ask nobody for help no more because stuff went left and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I'll be in that bag sometimes, but you know, once I can zoom out, you know what I mean? I don't want to personalize it. We all just rose y'all hand with me, so it's not something that I'm experiencing alone. So I zoom out and be like, all right, let me reset. And that's what led me to say, like, all right, let me just cultivate the relationships that I have currently. And so that my next question is, what are you doing currently? You know what I mean? I know like you have some events going on. You've developed so much since I've met you. So I just want to catch up with what you got going on. And so I don't want to text you.
Right. All right. So I always get like my mind go blank when people ask you this question, but I got a lot of stuff going on.
That's why I asked him. I'm like, yeah, I got you, right? I'm like, tell me.
Yeah. The first thing that's on my mind to talk about is Live, Love, Create, which is a space that me and she have created. We hold the space every other month.
Come on, Mar. You walked out. Come on.
She will be mentioned.
Right, exactly. That's why I said, I'm pointing out real.
But we do this event every other month, and the whole point of this event is just to create a space for people to come, live, love, and create, literally what the title says. So there's always a journaling portion, which is for you to self-reflect and release. We do like different topics, but really just release any emotions that's no longer serving you. And then we always do art portion, lead a paint portion. We might do an open night or throw like a workshop in there. So, we mix it up. The next one is coming up on May 25th. May 25th. And we have Ginger, next natural. She will be a part of this one. We are looking forward to that. So that's all on my Instagram. Y'all can follow me at Maya.Keeyana. I'll get it to you. So that's one thing that we got going on after. On top of that, there are a few series that I started not too long ago. The first interview I did with Morris that is up on YouTube. My YouTube is Maya Keeyana. In that interview, we talk about things from anxiety, depression, and Morris' journey to creating Expressive Illustrations, which is the nonprofit that exists today that does so much amazing work with the youth and healing. On top of that interview, we've also partnered with Expressive Illustrations to bring workshops to different students. May 17th.
May 7th.
May 7th. Yeah. May 7th, Sacred Connections. She just posted Sacred Connections. I'll be a part of it as well. It's going to be a couple people that's in this room that's going to be here too. So just pull up.
And shouts out to that, right? If y'all, gentlemen, we need a couple more gentlemen for that experience. Mm-hmm. That's my job. Okay. Right? I'm supposed to be finding the fellas. We only got one. You know what I mean? We need some brothers. And if y'all got one of y'all homies that y'all knew need some touching up, send him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Right. Send him. I got it. Yeah.
I don't know if people will be able to come up and talk about it, but from what I know, this event will be for people to come, it's a speed dating event for people with like-minded people to share intentions. And hopefully you can meet somebody that aligns with you. So, this is this.
Don't hurt yourself. I don't want a kid, right? All right, so.
I do some other stuff, but I ain't gonna talk too much about it.
Yeah.
The Goddess Circle. Oh, the Goddess Circle, we had another one coming up. Look it up. May 24th.
That's my birthday.
There's so much. Y'all just gotta follow me.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't want to drag this out with dates. You got plenty of stuff to do. So, I got two more questions for you because I just was inspired to ask one more. I had one, but I added one. So, my first question is, you were talking about some of the topics of like what you and more had going on. Yeah, got discussion, got interview, anxiety and depression. When I be doing my work, to push forward the platform, I recognize a lot of self-sabotage. Like, I think it's really a lot of that going on. And I think it'd be linked to an assortment of things. I'm not like a professional. I'm not here, but any sauce in that. I'm an empathetic person, so I know I've been there before. I'll sabotage myself, or I'll be like, I'll think about everything that can go wrong, but I don't be nearly as focused on everything that can go right. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if I spend this $500, where I'm gonna get the? What if the 500? And it's like, wait, you spent the 500 to make 1,500. Mm-hmm. Why aren't you focused on the 1,500 that can come out of it? Is, like those doubts creeping. So can you highlight maybe that before I ask my last question?
Yeah, so one thing I didn't tell y'all is that I have my bachelor's in psychology, which is the human's natural tendency to focus more on the negative things. So you're not the only person that does it, and that's why I'm so confident. But speaking about self-sabotage, right? I'll give you a prime example. I noticed that it was coming up, so I said in my head, well, I'm not going to indulge in anything like I won't smoke or drink because I feel like I'm subconscious of my voice. So I wanted to be able to speak clearly and loudly enough for everybody to hear me. So I did good. 3 hours before the event, I was smoking. I'm like, girl, what's going on? But me sitting there right now and you answering that question made me realize that I feel like we do it because we need the extra attention, we need the extra love. I work with kids, so I always take things back to like the childhood. You think about when kids start doing dumb shit for attention. Like, hey, bro, right? And it's like, you know what you're supposed to be doing, but you're gonna do this because you need a little extra love. You need to be seen right now. So it's like, even though I did that dumb shit, I'm still here. I still love myself. I'm still giving y'all all of me on the stage right now. So, it's happening.
Yeah, you say that. I'm not, what I'm saying? I'll be having the moments too where I'll have a performance and I'll be like, I want to show up in a manner that is effective and, impactful for everybody. And we got people in here right now, so it's like, we want to show up and be impactful and effective with what we've done. But I definitely always go through that where it's like, this is what I want to do. And it's like, if y'all here and that's why I like the intimate spaces where you build trustworthy relationships, because I can walk up to like 15 people in here and my natural being, and they be like, they accept that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I think that's a remedy that I've found is like building real relationships so you're not being judged. You know what I mean? If somebody's criticizing you, it's with love. They just want to see the best in you. So it's, 2 or 3 homies like, slurring on you know what I mean? That you take that's confirmation. So thank you for that, because I definitely go through that as well. So I want to end with this last question, right? Because you specialize and you intentionally create spaces for melanated women, right? I want to ask a question for myself, because I recently just been getting into a relationship, not in trying to get your best decisions as a entrepreneurial person. I mean, I be super ambitious. You know what I'm saying? I be super ambitious. And I'll always be super intentional about how I be holding my relationships with my partners in the past. So as a person, you're a woman, you're a creative, you kind of have a lot of what I'm saying going on. You got that lifestyle too. And you're a woman. So do you relate to that in the sense of how would you prioritize that, or how would you share that with women who might have to go through that, where it's like you the creative person, you be with that creative person and they be making moves, they be out, they always might be want to be super duper into the relationship because they I gotta get this done, I gotta go here. Yeah. You know what I mean? I heard this funny bar just to kind of figuratively sum up what I'm asking. The best way to get to an entrepreneur's heart is to box. Right? You know what I mean? That's the easiest way to break somebody for the entrepreneur if you want to date with them. And that could be a negative and a positive. So that's the sentiment I'm trying to say. It's sometimes we be so driven by our ambitions, we kind of neglect our personal relationships.
I feel that. Yeah. When they come out of
I'm not asking for, a specialist. I just wanted some, your insight and all, and then we gonna move back.
See, I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm gonna overthink it. All right, so when I want to deep into it, I would say you gotta just trust your gut. You have to be in tune with yourself. And that will allow you to know when you like giving too much of yourself away in a compromise, cause you'll feel it. Like you can tell the difference between like, damn, I'm doing something I don't want to do, but I think it's going to benefit us both compared to I'm doing something I don't want to do, just because this person want me to do. Okay. So you gotta tune into so yeah, just like know where you're going, stay focused on this probably like very contradicting. Stay focused on yourself, but at the same time, you gotta be compassionate for that other person. But I don't know. I guess that says it for you.
I think that's great. No, that gave me a lot of insight. You know what I mean? You say what your gut. Also,
yeah, that's the ultimate.
Consider. You know, how they're working on these three principles. When I identify with things that are within my feminine auric field is like, yo, I can be informational, right? I can let you know how I feel about what happened. I can inform you.
Which I feel like that's always the best thing
to start with, right? So it's like, I'll be informative and then I'll show unconditional love to show like what I would like to receive. Obviously, it's reciprocity. So I'll show that unconditional love. Like, you know what? Like you said, I might be doing this for us. Mm-hmm. And then I'll end with accountability and let them know, like, you know, I did feel like that kind of is pulling me out of my purpose though. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or even holding myself accountable to say, and they don't know nothing about crypto, bro. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like they don't know what you're dealing with. Like, you know, sometimes we just be projecting and stuff. So that's what I'll say is like when I be in my feminine, I'll be like, okay, how can I be informative? How can I be conditional with the love? And then also, how can I hold myself and those around me accountable? So thank you, as you gave me some clarity on how I can apply that. Did y'all have anything y'all wanted to share or ask before I tune us back into the music? Y'all seem full. Y'all seem mindful. I like that. I like that. That's good. Y'all seem mindful. And that's why I did this, because I wanted to replace the energy with something fresher so that when we hear this music, we don't feel like we just been bogged down with music for 3 straight hours.